So Nate, let's kick off our discussion by taking a look at some of the top challenges faced by the industry and some of the trends emerging from those challenges. Why don't you kick things off?
Sure. One of the biggest challenges has been the supply chain. So it's nothing new. I won't insult everyone's intelligence to mention that it's a big issue, but this one in particular has several layers. For one, it's made it virtually impossible to plan and forecast business results. And this dilemma isn't playing any favorites with any industry. As we all know, jobs, projects, implementations depend on the availability of equipment and on timing. And to give an example, my wife's car recently had to be repaired, and specifically it was the transmission lever that needed to be replaced. Her car was manufactured overseas, and when we asked them how long it was going to take for the repairs to be complete, they said anywhere between 3 weeks and 6 months, which is just mind-blowing. But the reality is that this is something that we're experiencing everywhere. In 2020, the value of out-of-stock equipment items eclipsed $1.14 trillion. I mean, we're seeing situations where equipment isn't even being delivered intact, it's being delivered in pieces. There are literally tractors that are being delivered without tires and excavators that are being delivered without buckets. And one of the biggest challenges of that is that businesses are, they're ready to grow, they're ready to expand, but they don't have the equipment to do so, and they have no idea when they're going to get it. One of the interesting things is that so companies like McKinsey and Reuters recently pulled out some of the research that they did a couple of years ago. And before the pandemic, 30% of business executives expressed having specific strategic plans to revitalize, to improve the flexibility and agility of their supply chains. After the pandemic, that number increased from 30% of executives to around 93% of executives. And one of the immediate steps that they're taking is to really invest in the technology and in the systems to increase their insight into their equipment. And they're changing the way that they acquire their equipment.